Hey guys, what's up? We're back with some more reactions after dark. And we, of course, are going to be watching YouTube's Darkest Videos 9 by Nick Crowley. It's been a while since we've done a Nick Crowley video. I mean, obviously, probably whenever it was when he uploaded his last Darkest video. I know it's been a while since we've done Stephanie stuff at this point, but it's like, I mean, really has it been that long? It's like what, 1, 2, 3, 4 days? Only because 2 days ago it was Halloween and we were doing just the YouTube featured nonsense for that. But we're gonna be doing Crowley today because I don't want Rad to just be Stephanie videos. Like I said, it's basically turned into like Stephanie / Rotten Mango re-upload channel at this point. So yeah, we're gonna be doing Crowley's video today. I barely remember what was in the last one. I could not tell you what was in YouTube's Darkest Videos 8. Like, I think the last thing he uploaded might have been The Darkest Moments in TV History 7, which I remember the river one, because I can see the icon down there, because it actually is showing up as like the next thing to watch, even though I've already seen it. But I can't remember any of the other stuff, but yeah, let's just go ahead and get into this. Apparently the first thing is I don't know if this is Wasco or Waco, because I don't think it's Waco. It's a Wasco train encounter.
The following video is sponsored by Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
For your discretion as usual, and again, Wasco train encounter.
On the morning of March 22nd, 2024, the Kern County Sheriff's Office was flooded with calls about an incident that had taken place near the Wasco Amtrak station in Wasco, California. The incident involved a pedestrian who was reportedly walking dangerously close to an active train track before being struck by an oncoming locomotive.
Okay, so someone has already been struck. Doesn't that just mean they are gone? Question mark. Of course, they do have to, call someone for that. Duh. So I'm guessing, like, are they still alive? Did they actually get hit? Or what's going on? Is someone still alive or are they gone?
Situation that authorities knew was likely unsurvivable. Police arrived at the scene shortly after 8 a.m. and were met with the bloody aftermath of the accident, as they found 48-year-old Horacio Ayala Penoza deceased on the tracks, with the force of the impact being so strong that his body was torn apart and scattered all throughout the area. At first, it was believed to have been a clear-cut suicide, but after interviewing some of the witnesses, police learned that the man had never stepped in front of the train, and rather,
Okay, never stepped. Are we about to say he was pushed into the train?
he had actually been sucked underneath, as a
Sucked underneath. Is it just from the pressure of the train going by?
result of walking too closely, painting a clearer picture that this was all a tragic accident. But as police were conducting these interviews, one strange detail kept coming up, as apparently, Horatio wasn't the only one on the tracks around the time of the incident, there allegedly having been one other man standing nearby, a man who took off shortly after Horatio had been killed, and strangely, witnesses believe they saw the man reach down and pick something up before leaving. For the officers on the scene, finding this man became the next obvious order of business, but by this point, he had already found himself a few blocks away, where he was spotted by a group of construction workers.
How do they, like, see him, like, so quickly? What the heck? They already know who the guy is, and they already have seen him 2 blocks down? Okay, like, are we saying the guy got pushed? Because if you can just get sucked into a train from being too close to it, doesn't it mean you should have, like, rails up? If it's just that easy to get sucked into it? Because if it is, well then, we need more safety procedures. But if it's not, well then, we're trying to say he got pushed. And then robbed? Question mark?
The group watched as the man walked towards them, appearing to hold some sort of large item in one of his hands, the same item that had been taken from the train tracks. And the closer he got, the clearer it became what exactly this thing was. It was a human.
A gun? Oh, a leg. The following video was recorded by one of the construction workers at the scene. So this... Okay, so I was like, wait, hold on, this is sounding familiar. Haven't we seen this story already? What video did we see the story of, like, a guy walking around with a like leg or an arm or something, and he was like munching on it in public. And like he just happened to find it because someone had been, you know, dismembered like this, and it wasn't anything like he didn't kill the guy. He just happened to find a body part and then started munching on it out in public because he's crazy or something. I don't know. Is this just like a different telling of that story? And if so, who talked about it before? Was it Lazy Masquerade? Because I swear to God, if this is what that is, we've seen this story before. Just not like from this kind of perspective. Yeah, it's this guy. Okay, yo, I've seen this. We've seen this video.
For some inexplicable reason, when the train had dismembered Horatio, this man had run over and picked up his leg, and he was now waving that leg on the sidewalk of a nearby road, with the construction crew claiming that he had been banging it against the fence as he walked towards them, and at one point had even struck the leg against one of their machines. Upon the realization, a wave of fear washed over the group, as they were unsure what this man had done to get this leg, or what he would do next, though that was something that even the wildest of imaginations could have never predicted. As the man looked down at the leg and began eating it, as the workers watched on in horror. Officers arrived on the scene immediately after this, and when they asked the man what he was doing with the leg, he explained that it belonged to him, and that he was taking it to a nearby hospital to have it reattached. But he was obviously,
You know, except that he has 2 legs. So this is uploaded on Halloween, of course. It's not age restricted or anything. So I've seen this image, but I don't remember it being this long or that clear before. Because this is like pretty graphic, even with the blur. I feel like they never use strong enough blurs for these videos. Like, can we have like a second layer of blur? Because the original video is probably already blurred. But like when these people re-upload these videos, when they use these videos in their videos, can y'all like add another blur on top of that? Question mark. Cause like I would, except for the fact that it takes a century to upload stuff. It takes a century to edit stuff. So I do all my editing live in OBS. If I need to like pause or like cut or anything like that, I just do that in OBS, and like transitions out are all done in OBS, so I don't have to worry about throwing it into an editor and doing any of that. And if anything needs to be cut further, I can just do that in YouTube. Because YouTube, you can edit videos to a minor degree. So I kind of like wish they would add like a second blur, a deeper blur, or just like not show it at all. Because if you're looking too closely, you can kind of see a bit too much, even through the blur.
obvious to everyone there that this man wasn't missing any of his legs, with the officers having to go as far as to prove it to him by making him roll up the sleeves of his pants and touch both of his legs. His explanation was completely nonsensical, and obviously didn't account for the fact that he was literally eating the leg just minutes before, leading to officers immediately placing him under arrest. His name was Rosendo Tejas, a 27-year-old man who had been experiencing homelessness and had been living on a street near the train tracks, with police determining that he did in fact have nothing to do with the actual death of Horatio. He just so happened to be near the tracks at the time, where he would first witness the accident, and then, for some unknown reason, take Horatio's leg and start eating it. It appears as though this was the result of a combination of both drugs and alcohol, as he was found carrying narcotics when he was taken into custody, and he had just been captured by security cameras purchasing alcohol at a nearby liquor store just hours before the incident. But what's so interesting about this footage is just how normal Rosendo seems. In fact, the people working there knew him quite well, as he stopped.
Normal, he seemed a bit fidgety there. Like, not super fidgety, but he did seem a bit fidgety. Yeah, there's a lot more information on this story than from when we saw it before. You know, we have footage of him at the convenience store. The video prior was longer than that. We have more info on the guy, I think, who got hit by the train.
Stopped in almost daily, where he was described as being polite and ordinary, including on the day of that incident. In fact, it said that at first the shop owners didn't believe that Rosendo could have possibly done this, but it seems that whatever substances he had taken that day had changed him. Rosendo Tejas was charged with 2 counts of removal of human remains and 1 count of destroying or concealing evidence, as well as resisting a police officer, and was sentenced to 1 year in prison after pleading no contest, bringing this absurd case to an end. However, his unsettling behavior will forever live on in one of YouTube's darkest videos.
Okay, so 1 year in prison. I mean, that's probably pretty good for him. Question mark, right? I mean, if he's homeless, well then, unfortunately, that is kind of like a out that some people try to take. If they're homeless and they can't do anything else, they try to get arrested so they can, have shelter and meals and shower and all that stuff for free. Essentially, I'm pretty sure there's probably some sort of term for it, like running off to be in jail on purpose so that you have a place to stay and food to eat and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, at least now he has like a year of shelter. Though again, like it's just crazy to be just doing something like that. I mean, we're saying it's the drugs, right? And that he was a normal guy before that. Like, what did he take that would cause you to be like, oh yeah, a leg, let me steal this leg and munch on it? Like, I don't know. Again, it's crazy that we're seeing this story again. It's just the problem with watching multiple people who make these like this kind of content, because their stories might get crossed sometimes. Though I mean, sometimes you might actually get more information on the story that you've already seen. Like we got more story on both. Well, I guess not too much on what happened to the guy, but way more on the guy who was caught doing this, and want even more footage of him being at the convenience store.
Fun of Halloween should not include mystery.
Probably should have watched this on Halloween, but I did not. Watched.
It was just past 10 p.m. Safely tucked away in her second-story apartment,
Okay, this is called Watched. She's recording herself doing probably some sort of dance. Someone outside her window.
20-year-old Hannah Vivaretti set up her phone.
How old?
Safely tucked away in her second-story apartment, 20-year-old Hannah Vivaretti set up her phone to record a video of herself dancing. For her, this was a meditative practice, a way of unwinding after a long, stressful day, and to truly feel at peace. But that day, fate had other plans.
Okay, well, she definitely had some sort of weird face there. We can't see what's going on with the windows, because we don't know if it's dark or light. Because I can't tell if any light is coming through those windows, or if it's just these lights, right there. Also, I need to be using, what color do I use for Crowley? I don't know. Can we just use gray? Because I forgot to change that. But yeah, we just have those lights there. So I can't tell. I think maybe it is nighttime. That's why you would be worried about that. Like, we can't even use gray because gray is too dark. Let's give you red for now.
As Hannah was dancing, something off camera caused her to stop dead in her tracks and yell, "Who are you?" It was a man whom Hannah had never seen before, standing in the doorway of her balcony, which again was on the second floor.
She's on the second floor, so that's weird. Because you have to somehow climb up there. It's like, obviously not broad daylight, because it's probably nighttime, right? But like broad lights on in house, so you're just gonna do that? Like, all her lights are on. Well, not all her lights, but her lights are on and bright. Bright enough to make it confusing on whether or not it's daytime or not. And you're just gonna break into her balcony?
That man had climbed up, cracked open the door, and was now standing in her home staring at her, quietly muttering nonsensically with a big grin on his face.
Who are you? Who are you? Please get off.
Hannah stopped the music and again asked, "Who are you?" To which the man responded by saying,
Please get out. No, please get out. Yes.
but her demeanor and the panic in her voice made it all too clear that this was far from the case.
I can't.
Who are you?
Okay, I can't tell if if those are windows, or like if the window on the far right was the door, or if the door is off camera, we can't see them yet.
Please get out of my apartment right now.
She started to make her way over to her phone and then towards the front door, all the while.
Yeah, I wish you would aim it in that direction so we can see.
The man kept
This
calmly
guy.
insisting that they be friends, but Hannah was having none of it.
Oh, she just left.
Right now.
Opening her front door and in the process,
Get out. Get out.
pointing
Oh, he's just there.
directly at the intruder, giving us our first and
Okay, so now we can see. So these two, he was off camera. We just could see these two windows, but the doors right next to them. I'm assuming these windows actually go to the balcony, like you can see out onto the balcony. I mean, there's a lot of distance between her and him now. She's trying to tell him to leave, but couldn't he just leave, go downstairs, go back outside, climb back up onto her balcony, and then do it again? Yeah, at least where things are now, it would take him a while to get to her if he tries to like run after an attack. Also, this is a long story, so how crazy is this going to be? Because so far it's just cut and dry. Question mark. Guy breaks into your house, but is so weirdly passive that you can actually get away from him. She's already away from him. All she can just lock him in there and call the cops. At this point, though, at the back of my mind, like the very, very, very back of my mind, I'm like, okay, is this staged? Question mark. I'm only saying that just in case, like, we have like M. Night Shyamalan twist at some point. Be like, oh yeah, this was staged, just because of how long this is. But we're just gonna go assume it's not now. Again, there's so much distance between them that she could just call the cops, lock him in, yada yada yada, and that'd be done with it.
An only glimpse of the man as he's standing still in the balcony doorway. And with her front door now open, she yelled at him to get out, loud enough for the neighbors to hear.
Get out!
The neighbor's gonna come outside?
Which finally caused the man to retreat.
Is that like outside? Hold on. Yeah, here, I think we're like, this is a railing to stop you from falling, and she's on the second floor, I'm guessing. Like, because he said she's on the second floor, but the second floor, like, stairwell, hallway. Like, it's not inside a building. Like, the hallway to your apartment isn't in a building itself. It's detached and just outside. Which is normal, right?
Which finally caused the man to
Which I'm saying is there's no way for him to go over there and then come over here.
retreat. As it turns out, Hannah did actually know who this man was, at least vaguely, as he lived in the same apartment complex, but he never actually spoke to her. He would always just stare and smile, making it apparent that he had some sort of sick interest in her. As for why he entered her home that night, it's fairly obvious that his intentions were incredibly sinister, with Hannah recalling that during the entire experience, his hands never left his hoodie pocket, making her wonder if he was holding onto some sort of weapon that he may have been planning to use on her. But thankfully, because of her swift reaction, we'll never truly know what he had planned that night. Days after the incident, police would arrest 36-year-old Angel Moses Rodriguez Gomez and charge him with stalking, second-degree assault, third and fourth-degree burglary, and malicious destruction of property. But surprisingly, shortly after his arrest, they allowed him to walk free on bail.
Sure.
And given that he lived in the same apartment complex as Hannah and clearly knew where she lived, this decision was incredibly controversial, with Hannah herself stating in an interview that, "I just don't think it's fair that he's walking freely right now, and I have to watch my back at every angle." Thankfully, the court's decision would not lead to any further escalations in the case, and today Angel no longer lives in the country, but the footage is incredibly chilling nonetheless, and it sent me down a rabbit hole of home invasion videos late the other.
Okay, so this is a rabbit hole. That's why this is so long. Because it's like, how could this keep going on for so long unless something like crazy happens? Because again, there was like a good 15, 20 feet between them, and she had control of the door, and is on the second story stairwell? Question mark. So like, there's no way for him to get to her other than that door. So like, I feel like there's no way he could have gotten to her. So what, like, where could the story honestly go? But it's because of, like, it didn't go anywhere. Like, she was safe. But is it gonna get any crazier? I feel like you could fit like 3 more videos in here, unless he's gonna find like one crazy one.
Other night. And here on YouTube, I came across countless unsettling examples. One such example comes from Saratov, Russia, and shows a woman moments after being awoken by the sound of knocking as she lay in bed in her apartment. It was around 4:30 a.m., which was already unusual enough, but things became downright horrifying for her when she realized that the knocking wasn't coming from the door, it was coming from the window. Outside of her window was a man, banging his head against the glass over and over again. And equally as disturbing, this woman's unit wasn't on the first floor. She was 2 stories up, and she didn't have a balcony. Across the street, a neighbor filmed the incident as it happened, showing us that the man was standing on one of the building's gas pipes while he continued to strike the window. Eventually, these hits grew so forceful that the glass started to break, and his head began bleeding profusely, finally leading to the man stopping, but not in the pursuit of entering the home.
пена изо рта ушла.
Слушай, это дурачка пена изо рта, мне бешенство или что?
Can't tell what they're saying, obviously, because they're speaking Russian, right?
Ну, бля, попей мочи, иди отсюда уже.
As he instead climbed to a different window where he attempted to peel it open with his fingers. But by this point, police had already arrived on the scene, and eventually the man would be forced down and placed under arrest. When looking for an explanation as to why this man was doing this, it appears that he was under the influence of bath salts during the ordeal. But aside from this, I couldn't find any other information about the man's identity, or whatever became of him. But
I haven't heard people talk about bath salts in, like, forever. Like, blaming bath salts on crazy behavior, like it's a narcotic. Yeah, I have not heard of, like, doing bath salts in a gajillion years.
was able to find that this clip doesn't tell the entire story, as the woman behind the camera actually spoke to a local reporter and provided additional context to the ordeal, which only made the story more terrifying. At first, he knocked with his hands. Then he began to peck at me at the window with his head for an hour and a half without stopping. After that, he started shouting my name to the whole yard. He was foaming at the mouth. His whole face
Okay, that just told us he knows who she is.
was covered in blood, and he shouted that he wanted to talk to me, and he needed me. With the most terrifying part of the statement being that she had no idea who this man was, or how he could have even known her name. The idea of both of these intruder videos featuring people whom the victims had never even spoken to makes them especially unsettling, as it shows that you really never know who's watching and who might be obsessing over you. But incidents like this can be equally as chilling when the intruder is someone that you do know. Mohammed Amana was a 26-year-old man living in Orrefors, Sweden, and had been dating a woman named Maria. But after several run-ins with the law, Mohammed's lifestyle just became too much for her, and she eventually decided to end the relationship. This caused Mohammed to become enraged, an emotion that was only further heightened when he discovered that she was staying with a male friend of theirs. And on the 25th of May, he would show up at his doorstep and ask to speak to Maria.
I feel like, have I seen this one? Like, not in, like, one of these videos in Rad, but I've just seen it, like, posted online somewhere. Like on Twitter or something.
His girlfriend and Maria both refused to let him in and told him to leave. And for a moment, he did, though only temporarily, as he would return minutes later, this time armed with a ladder. And noticing what he was trying to do, the homeowner began recording on his cell phone.
En stege. En stege. Okej.
Vad gör du, Mohammed?
Får man gå in?
Vad gör du?
The man behind the camera asks, "What are you doing? Are you going to fight me?" To which Mohammed said no, he just wanted to speak to Maria.
Tror du kommer upp här? Tror du kommer upp här?
Varför slå med mig?
Nej, wallah.
As he said this, his demeanor was unsettlingly calm as he continues making his way up the ladder.
Mohammed, du kommer inte upp här. Du kommer inte in.
Yeah, because this is dangerous, because they could unintentionally cause manslaughter by pushing this guy off the ladder. So it's like he's making a dangerous situation for them, like not just for himself, but also for them. If this ladder slips and he hurts himself, like they could somehow get in trouble randomly for some reason. If they push him and he falls, they can get in trouble. Maybe. It probably depends on the law, but like they could be like, okay, yeah, this guy was screwing around. We're not going to blame you for his death or his injuries, but you never know what might happen. So this is dangerous in multiple levels, not just for him, but like for also getting these two in trouble if they end up knocking him off the ladder.
With his demeanor being so calm that the cameraman couldn't tell if Mohammed was a threat or not, though it wouldn't take long for him to get his answer.
Du kommer inte in i mitt hem. Han högg mig med en kniv. Han högg mig med en kniv.
In an instant, Mohammed struck the cameraman, causing him to retreat into his room, closing the sliding glass door just in time for Mohammed to step on the balcony and brandish a large kitchen knife.
Oh, okay, well. Okay, now we gotta do something about this.
Du, han krossar glaset med en sten.
Still dazed by the attack, the man holding the camera retreated even further into the house.
How far is the girl? Because we don't hear her anymore, because we know she's in here, so we have to figure out where she's at. She's probably like all the way out of the house at this point, I would assume. Or at least close to the exit. So now comes the question of, should he have just pushed them off the ladder, even though it could have caused him to die? Because now they possibly could die because of not, stopping him from getting in. So it's just like the dilemma of you don't know what he was going to do until he got close enough, and well, he's trying to break into your house, so you can only imagine, but Should he just gotten rid of him before he got this far? Potentially at the detriment of getting in trouble, like, and getting jail time from pushing him and hurting him or whatnot. Because now we're past the point of no return, right? Because now he's breaking into your house. He literally broke your window. He has a knife in his hand. What do you do?
Maria had already run into the bathroom and locked the door behind her.
Okay, good. Well, it literally just answered my question right after I was asking it. But now what's going to happen to him? Is he going to be able to, I don't know, get the cops over here fast enough? Do they have a gun? I don't know what the gun laws are over there. Can they just have them willy-nilly? If you can you find it fast enough and deal with this guy? Any form of, like, self-defense? Because obviously he has the advantage, having a knife.
A door that Mohammed would quickly rush over to.
Mohammed. Släpp in mig på dörren, han kommer in. Han kommer in, Maria. Mohammed, hugg nu. Mohammed, du hörde mig redan.
Okay, probably wasn't too smart for him to run to where Maria was. Right? Because he kind of just gave away her position by doing that. I don't know if he was saying, if he was asking her to let him in with her or what, but now we're in a situation where now he knows where she's at.
And desperately tried to open, even trying to use his knife to turn the lock, as that lock was...
Yeah, I've seen this guy, I think, climbing the ladder before, but I haven't seen it this far. I was like, oh yeah, he's trying to break in, and I like scrolled past, because I don't want to see anything crazy, right? But I didn't realize it. This video is this nuts.
And desperately tried to open, even trying to use his knife to turn the lock, as that lock was the only thing standing in the way of what he was there to do. What exactly that was is unknown, as police would manage to arrive on the scene within minutes of this footage being taken, where they would arrest Mohammed before he was able to get to Maria. But it's clear based on the fact that he had a weapon on him and his desperate attempt to breach the house that he didn't just want to have a conversation. In the end, the man filming was left with only minor cuts. Mohammed was sentenced to 2 years in prison, as well as a 10-year ban from the country of Sweden, leaving us with 3 haunting videos of
this is Sweden, not Russia.
3 disturbed intruders, whose true intentions will thankfully never be known.
But, this is probably like the ad. I'm assuming. Let me see. Actually, I don't know what this is. I think it's Safe Link, right? Or whatever he said it was. Simple Safe, not Safe Link. Simple Safe.
But while fun in the moment, the true terror of consuming this content often occurs long after the credits roll, when you close your eyes to go to sleep, only to feel the sickening feeling of paranoia, every creak in your home sending a jolt of panic throughout your body, making you wonder if someone or something is inside your house. I was just like you once. Consuming creepy content is my livelihood, and as a result, I've spent countless sleepless nights feeling uneasy within my own home, never quite feeling safe and secure, always wondering if something was lurking around me, until I realized that the reason I didn't feel secure was because I wasn't. The only thing standing between me and the outside world was a simple lock, and I knew it was time for change. With that change finally coming when I partnered with this video sponsor, SimpliSafe. SimpliSafe is a home security system that you can control right from your phone. The SimpliSafe app
kind of want to just like leave a little bit of that in, because I noticed that he was like recording himself in this kind of like analog style.
Error can end and the credits roll. And if you want to feel that same peace of mind, you can save 50% off your very own SimpliSafe security system by signing up for their professional monitoring plan. Visit simplisafe.com/NickCrowley to customize yours. And there's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Video blog number 1, the story of Noah Harpham.
Alright, hey folks, this is Noah, getting my blog live. Trucks and trucks and lots of trucks.
This is the very first footage that Noah Harpham would post to YouTube. After years of having a channel, Noah finally decided to give uploading a try, posting this inaugural video to his self-titled channel on October 29th, 2020.
9 years ago, 77k views, so this must be something people already know about, if it has that many views.
15, titling it 102915, video blog number 1, and introducing himself to the platform with a simple "Hello world" in the description.
No, but I did want to dissect just the beginning of a sermon given by a Pastor Bill, a guy that my dad has been following, taking ideas from. for 10 years at least. He and his family, 2 kids.
In the video, Harpham paces throughout his home and discusses a priest named Pastor Bill, whom he believed was influencing his father and his family, and clearly not in a good way.
I've been ignorant of it for a long time, so I wanted to look at it, and I challenged him just to look at 15 minutes of this sermon.
Though he gives no context as to who this pastor is, only mentioning that he had been ignorant of the situation for a while, and that this video was his response after trying to expose the truth to his father.
Been waiting, and I haven't heard anything. So I was going to just post my reply, and I guess that's how I'll start my blog.
Again, what this truth is unclear, as the lack of information makes this video a confusing watch, and ultimately it tells us very little about who Noah was.
It's only a minute long. Also, do not say who. Do not use the term was, because you know how I am. You say the word was, like use past tense. I'm like, okay, this guy's dead. But maybe he's not dead. Maybe, I mean, you could just say, you can use it that way without meaning he's gone.
Let alone the other people he was discussing. But he did end the clip by making it clear that this was only the beginning of what would be a reoccurring vlog series that would showcase just him, his thoughts, and his camera.
The blog is just going to be me with a video camera, and that'll be it. We'll see what happens.
But before those uploads would come, Noah had pinned a website in his description that directed users to a blog post written by him that same day, titled...
That was also the day before Halloween, weirdly, right? Which it might be why he picked this video, because it's October 30th. Sun, water, movement, food, and sleep.com.
Uploads would come. Noah had pinned a website in his description that directed users to a blog post written by him that same day, titled, "Is my dad in a cult? Even worse, is it satanic?" Throughout the writing, Harpham loosely provides additional context for his video, as he breaks down a sermon given by Pastor Bill, who is shown to be Bill Johnson, a well-known preacher from the Bethel Church in Redding, California, who had garnered a large following online. And despite the sermon being over an hour long, Harpham goes through it point by point, critiquing everything that he said, and the more he typed, the more angry he got, and the more angry he got, the more nonsensical his words became. "I'm attempting to present a case that shows the leader of this prestigious institution, along with a select group of rulers, are using mind control techniques to poison and confuse legions of useful idiots that slave away to keep the institution humming along, and that this man, Pastor Bill Johnson, and his ruling caste are using mind control to keep people imbalanced and ignorant, in a state of perpetual waiting for the material world to be defied, while they themselves are profiting immensely in this material world."
Okay, so we're saying that Noah is the problem here, not Bill. So like, okay, maybe Noah's gonna be fine, and actually he's telling the truth about Bill, but maybe Noah actually is having some issues here.
The blog gives us a peek behind the curtain of the man shown in this video, a man who seems to be clearly mentally unwell, paranoid, and very angry, with the post making it clear that the purpose of Noah's content was to bring this pastor down, and video blog number 1 was supposed to be just the start. However, there would never be a video blog number 2.
I figured this was the only video he's ever posted.
As just 2 days after posting this video, Noah's life would take a drastic turn.
Colorado Springs 911, what's the exact location of your emergency?
It's it.
Repeat that one more time for me and make sure I got it correct.
Well, it's across the street from me. I'm calling from my address.
Tell me exactly what happened.
Well, there's a guy walking around with like 2 cans of gasoline or something, 2 small cans, and a big, like a rifle. It's black.
Because like, what, 2 things of gasoline? Is he gonna burn the place down? Is he gonna self-immolate, or what?
It had a strap around it. He's walking up to doors and stuff.
At 8:35 a.m. on Halloween morning, a woman named Naomi Bettis called 911 after witnessing a suspicious man walking around her neighborhood in Colorado Springs. She watched him carrying several cans of gas, as well as an AR-15 that was hung over his shoulder. She didn't know it at the time, but this man was her neighbor, Noah Harpham.
Also, how did you get that weapon? I mean, apparently you can just buy these at the gun store, right? But still, like, how do we just sell these? Anyways, again, yeah, it's happening on Halloween. I'm guessing that that's also why he decided to put this story in here, because it lines up with him posting this on Halloween. Though it is November 2nd, so still Day of the Dead. It's still technically spooky time. So still topical.
He walked into the building, and the glass window at that business is broke.
And that's a business? What's the name of the business?
I have no idea, but I just know it's, I don't know if it's a fake gun, a BB gun, but it looks pretty scary.
As the call progresses, Naomi explains that she had watched him enter a nearby business, where one of the windows appeared to have been broken. She wasn't sure if anything illegal had happened at this point, but she was convinced that Noah was up to something sinister, which based on what he had in his possession seemed to be the only logical conclusion. However, this concern wasn't felt by everyone.
Okay. And you said it looked like a long gun, correct? Like a rifle?
Yes, uh-huh.
Well, it is an open carry state, so he can have a weapon with him or walking around with it, but of course having those gas cans, it does seem pretty suspicious, so we're going to keep the call going for that.
Okay, and the window's broken to that business downstairs, so.
Open, yeah, but I mean, does open carry just mean, because I don't know anything about guns or owning guns or the gun laws, but does open carry mean you can just openly brandish an automatic weapon? Automatic rifle like that? And an operator just be like, oh yeah, well, this is an open carry state, so he's allowed to do that. Like, what? Because it is kind of like, okay, sure, you're allowed to brandish your weapon in public, but it takes a fraction of a second to then just unload that weapon into the public if you want to, question mark. Like, we're not going to get into shootings or whatever, I'm just saying. It's just weird to be like, oh, well, to have that kind of response, well, this is a open carry state. That just felt so weird as a response.
Right, and you said he's now upstairs, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And are you or anyone else in immediate danger?
No.
Okay.
As the operator seemingly brushed aside the incident, stating that she was only keeping the call going because the gas cans could be suspicious. However, even with that,
Yeah, because it could lead to arson, but it takes longer to try to set a person on fire than to just kill them with a single bullet, right?
the report still wasn't taken seriously, as the dispatcher hung up on her shortly after, before dispatching one single officer to the scene. An officer that never even made it there, as just moments later he was called off and sent to what was deemed to be a more pressing scene at the local senior center. Naomi's concerns were completely ignored, but despite this, she continued to watch out her window, waiting to see what Noah would do next. 4 minutes after her call with police ended, and 10 minutes after first reporting Noah's behavior, Naomi would dial 911 once again, only this time, her demeanor was far different.
I'm guessing gunshots had been heard at that point. Also, does that mean the dispatcher was fired? Because sometimes that does happen, right? If they don't take a call seriously, I feel like you will lose your job. Because you could have prevented something. Because if cops would have made it there in time, they probably could have stopped him if he's already done something bad. But now it's like, okay, you didn't take it seriously, and now you've cost someone their lives, potentially. Again, it's crazy to be like, oh yeah, you can just carry an automatic weapon in public, and our operators be like, oh, well, it's not against the law. Which I know it's not against the law in some places, because, you know, the famous thing that happened where it was fine to do that. Like, it's not against the law to just have them out and open. I feel like it should be fine for smaller weapons, even though it doesn't change. Like, a bullet is a bullet, but like a big, I don't know. I'm not getting into this gun law stuff because I don't know anything about them.
I just called a few minutes ago and the guy came back out and he fired a gun at somebody and he's laying on the street dead. Oh my God. You sent an ambulance too.
Naomi's worst fears had come true, as she frantically told dispatch that the man carrying the gun had just shot and killed someone outside of her home.
Oh my God.
Okay, calm down, okay? Stay with me. I'm just putting that into the call. Is anyone in immediate danger?
No, that I can see or see. No.
In response, the operator bizarrely asks if anyone else is in danger, but Naomi, likely in a state of shock, answers no, before immediately realizing that Noah was heading in the direction of Platt Avenue, which was known to be a busier neighborhood.
Maybe on Platt Avenue there might be people in danger.
Naomi, I need a suspect's description. Do you know his name?
No, I don't.
Okay, is he white, black, Hispanic,
He's
Asian?
white, and he's got long curly hair coming out of his cap.
She desperately tried to relay that more people were likely in harm's way, only to be immediately proven right just seconds later.
I think, yeah, there's people outside that might be in danger up on Platt.
Okay.
Oh, I just heard another gun fire. Oh my God.
When she hears more gunshots, prompting the operator to once again ask,
Yeah, they need to call an ambulance or something right away.
Okay. Is anyone in immediate danger?
Only people up on Platt, maybe.
All right, I am sending the paramedics to help you now. Stay on the line and I'll tell you exactly what to do next, okay?
Okay.
I don't understand what's going on here. Again, with the first call, I mean, they asked, is anyone in immediate danger? I mean, what do you mean? There's a guy walking around outside with a gun and gas cans. What do you mean? And then here, I mean, she doesn't know how to respond to that, so that's not really her fault. That she keeps saying she doesn't know, or no, or maybe on this street. But like the thing of like, isn't any, because it feels like you're asking, is this worth our time? When you're saying, is anyone in immediate danger? Because that's what that sounds like to me. Is she's not asking, is anyone in immediate danger? What she's really asking is this going to be a waste of our time? But she's like, hey, someone's dead already, and I just heard another gunshot. And she's like, well, is anyone in immediate danger? You know, after being told someone just got shot and someone's dead already. Or a gunshot was heard again after someone's already been killed. Like, hello? What is with these dispatchers? Or not dispatchers, whatever, these call people.
It was only then that the operator would tell Naomi that police and medical personnel were finally being dispatched to the scene. But by this point, it was far too late.
Yeah, they should have been there 4 minutes ago.
After Naomi had made her first 911 call, Noah Harpan would first attempt to light his house on fire using the 2 cans of gasoline, though this
Okay, so that he was burning his own house down? I thought he was going to burn, like, the church down or something.
however failed, and caused him to quickly shift his focus. Noah instead stepped outside and brandished his rifle, immediately pointing it directly at Andrew Mayers, who had been riding his bike in the neighborhood, and after seeing the gun, the man stopped and begged him not to shoot.
Like, why just attacking random people? Like, his beef is with Bill? Is that what his name? Why is he just taking out just random innocent people?
To which Noah responded by pulling the trigger multiple times, killing him instantly, with Andrew Myers being the man that Naomi had seen laying dead on the street. From there, Noah began walking up the street where he would eventually see 2 women sitting on the porch of a sobriety center, where local women went to get help with their drug and alcohol addiction.
This is, of course, Halloween 2015.
And upon noticing them, he immediately started shooting, striking and killing both Christina Gallela and Jennifer Vasquez.
I'm kind of just realizing another issue with this story is the fact that it's freaking Halloween. And you could argue that's why the first person didn't take it seriously. Because it's someone coming in saying, hey, I saw a person brandishing a weapon and gasoline cans and whatnot, but it's freaking Halloween. So they might think, oh, it's just part of the costume. It's just like, Jesus Christ. Like, I'm happy I realized that now, but I feel like that might be why these dispatchers are just not taking any of this seriously, because they just assume it's some sort of prank call or someone who just sees a costume and thinks it's real, right? But still, I don't know if that was like premeditated on his part to do this on Halloween, because no one would believe that someone would be just walking around with a gun, you know, taking people out.
Noah walked for over a mile after this before the police finally caught up with him. And when they called out for him to stop walking, Noah turned and immediately opened fire, leading to a massive shootout.
Yeah, why wouldn't you just immediately just take them out? I mean, they can't do that, I'm pretty sure, but still.
When the smoke cleared, the only one struck had been Noah, who was lying dead on the pavement, marking the end of his killing spree. The investigation that followed revealed that Noah had never even met any of the 3 people he killed that day. They were all total strangers, leaving the question, why had he done it? Well, even today, there's still no clear motive, with this appearing to be a completely random and senseless act. But looking at his final and only posts online, Noah was clearly very angry and seemed to be mentally unwell, which was corroborated by testimony from his parents, as they later claimed that he had anger issues and suffered from drug addiction and bipolar disorder. But what's so unusual about this to me was that this video was published just 2 days before the killings, and it was clearly not meant to be a one-off post. It was something that he seemed genuinely excited to continue, yet not even 48 hours later, he resorted to this. What happened in that time frame may never be known, but the effects of it will last forever. And I can't help but wonder how differently this all could have gone if that initial 911 operator had just taken Naomi's report seriously.
Yeah, again, like, it felt so unnatural for her to be acting like that, and then same thing on the second call. Until you remember that it's Halloween, but even with the added notion that, like, oh yeah, it's Halloween, they're expecting pranks, they're expecting people to not know the difference between a costume, gun, or weapons and real guns, weapons, whatever. But still, if they would have showed up, this would have changed something, or at least Noah would have been taken out by himself and nobody else.
Noah's spree didn't start for a full 10 minutes after she started that call, which would have been more than enough time for police to intervene. But instead, Noah was given all the time he needed to end 3 innocent lives.
The Diogar? Because it looks like a G. Diogar, I guess, ropeway. But we could go into a conspiracy if you wanna. Is that incident as well? I didn't see that. The Diogar ropeway incident, I think, is being written here, but it's all burnt out there. But anyways, we can go into a conspiracy if you want to humble that kind of thought for a second. Because he was saying that we're going to call him Bill because I don't know his name. I don't remember his name. That Bill is like some sort of cult leader brainwashing people into doing things or whatever, keeping the business running and whatnot. And that it was like, what, screwing over his dad or something. Yada yada yada, right? He thinks these people are part of some crazy evil cult. Then he posts a video about it. He makes a blog about it. The conspiracy here is that what if he was right and the this cult saw that he had posted this stuff, because I mean they are part of the same community, right? Question mark. I don't know, because I don't know if this Bill and this quote-unquote cult exists in the same location that they live. If so, well then yeah. They saw this video or they saw his blog post or whatnot somehow. And I was like, okay, we gotta get rid of this guy. Because he's caught on to us. And then they somehow, you know, trick him into doing this. Mind control him. If they actually can mind control him. I mean, we're getting really out of bounds here with this conspiracy. But I'm just saying, that's a thought to think of. Like maybe he was forced into this just to get rid of him. Granted, it cost people 3 lives, so yeah. We could just assume that he just was suffering from mental illness and unfortunately did this.
It wasn't an attraction for the faint of heart. Standing over 1,300 feet above the ground, the Diogar ropeway was built to take tourists up and down the Trikut mountain in Jharkhand, India.
Okay, well, this is going to snap and people are going to die, I'm assuming.
It was the tallest cableway in the entire country, offering an unparalleled view of Diogar and the picturesque landscape around it. Because of this, videos have long since been posted on YouTube showing just how dramatic of a ride this truly is, with one such video being recorded on April 10th, 2022.
2022, and we got this crusty quality.
That day, a woman and her family had been filming their adventure to the Trikut mountain, and were now filming a first-person view of the descent back down.
I don't like that sound. Is this wire about to snap? Like, do we want to watch this? Do we want to watch these people plummet to the earth on this railway?
It wasn't the kind of place for anyone with a fear of heights, and the loud sounds of the car passing the support towers only added to the anxiety of the trip. But the
Yeah, I'm good.
group filming this all remained relatively calm,
I'm not getting on this thing.
quietly conversing to themselves, seemingly unfazed by the spectacular height. Even enjoying it. A feeling that wouldn't last.
Because I feel that them crossing that path was already, okay, wait, hold on a minute, you know? What was all that sound? That sound didn't sound good. I can't... Okay, I think they're falling now. Also, I can't tell if they're paused or not, like if they're not moving. So, are they at the, like, pylon in between right now? Because they are, maybe it's not the cable, maybe the pylon just let go of them, like, for maintenance or something? Because how else would you, like, get rid of these things if not at these, like, junctures? These junctions, right? So maybe it just let go of them for some reason.
Without any warning, the car was met with a massive force, sending the occupants and the camera to the floor, causing the footage to go dark. In that moment, one of the ropeway's axles had dislodged, causing a failure on the pulley system, which resulted in 2 cars crashing into each other, and the rest coming to a sudden and violent halt.
Yeah, I was thinking, if they got hit by something, I guess it was a car behind them? Question mark?
The impact was brutal, but somewhat surprisingly, the footage continued.
Doesn't sound like they're falling. They're not.
showing just enough to reveal that the ropeway and the cabin these people were in were both still intact.
Yeah, like they're not panicking like people who are falling. They're just freaking out like someone who's been hit by like another car from behind. But what's going to happen next?
Before the recording came to an end, this group had survived the impact, but the nightmare was far from over. News of the collision quickly spread throughout the region, leading to the scene being flooded with rescuers and news crews alike, with everyone trying to figure out what exactly was happening, and the initial prognosis was grim. In the impact, one man in a separate car had been killed, and many others were left injured. And making matters worse, due to the broken axle, the ropeway was now no longer operational, meaning that the 70+ people spread throughout the various cars were now stuck, some of whom were still suspended over 1,000 feet in the air. It was going to be an incredibly difficult rescue operation, just given the height of the ropeway alone. And ultimately, it was determined that the Indian Air Force would utilize their special top-of-the-line helicopters to fly over the cars and lower down ropes with harnesses attached to them for survivors, who then would strap themselves in and be hoisted up to the helicopter above using an electronic winch. It took hours for them to even make their first attempt, before finally trying their approach on a middle-aged man, who slid on his rescue strap and was then slowly pulled up towards safety.
Okay, how close are these two helicopters? Because it's hard to tell perspective here. I think the one in the background is, like this one is actually further down. Obviously, this is further up. This guy's attached to this, right? Is he going to let go and then unfortunately die? Because I'm worried about him falling into the other helicopter, but I think they're just too far away for that to happen.
The footage of this is horrifying. These people were already over 1,000 feet in the air when their cars got stuck, and now they were being lifted even higher, tethered only by a single rope and a safety harness. Worst of all, it was a particularly windy day, which was made worse by the swirling of the helicopter blades, a combination that caused the man to start swinging wildly from side to side as he hung onto the rope for dear life.
Now, I kind of don't want to watch this guy fall, so hopefully he gets into the helicopter, please.
It was a grueling journey up, but finally the man reached the aircraft, and with safety just a few feet away, he instinctively reached his arms above his head in an attempt to grab onto the helicopter, a decision that would have disastrous effects. As he did so, his harness slid upwards and was pulled over his shoulders, and then over his arms, before eventually landing in his hands, meaning the only thing left holding him up was his own grip, as he clung to the now useless harness.
Where are the people on the helicopter that should be trying to get him in?
For a full minute he dangled there, just inches away from rescue. Meanwhile, the rescue crew searched the craft for something they could use to safely hoist him in, but before they got the chance...
I don't know, well, again, you can skip ahead right now, because I'm assuming this guy's gonna fall, so if you don't want to see that, you can just skip.
The man slipped out of his harness, momentarily catching himself on the side of the helicopter itself, but by this point, his strength was gone, and seconds later, his grip would fail for good. Causing him to plummet approximately 2,000 feet to the ground below, killing him instantly.
Okay, so he didn't show that part. So if you skipped past it, he didn't show him falling.
For those waiting to be rescued, the sight was especially horrific, as they watched the man who they thought had made it to safety fall to the ground right in front of them. The fear they must have felt knowing that soon it would be their turn is unimaginable. After this, the rescue crews began making tweaks to their operation, which started to lead to a few attempts going off without a hitch, but the entire process was incredibly slow, as a full 24 hours would pass before 60-year-old Shubha Devi would finally get her chance to be removed from the car. And as she started her ascent up to the helicopter, the wind also caused her to start swinging wildly, so wildly in fact, that the winch used to lift her suddenly stopped working, leaving her hanging there, only moving side to side rather than up towards safety.
I don't know why they are like trying to pull them into the helicopter and then bringing them down. It looked like they were lowering them before, but like, why not get them on a harness and then fly slowly to the side or something, and then slowly lower the helicopter and then land the people on the ground instead of having to like get them, like drop the whatever to the person, put it on the person, then dragged him up into the helicopter, then move the helicopter somewhere else, then land the helicopter, let the person out, then fly back up and do that all over again. When you could just drop them in the harness, they put it on, and then you slowly just lower them down to another location. Instead of having to add the extra part of like dragging them up.
As she hung there, rescuers on the helicopter frantically tried to figure out what the problem with the winch was. But before they could ever get their answer, the rope suddenly snapped, causing her to free fall to the ground below. It came without any sort of warning, and from what I can find online, there isn't a definitive answer as to how this happened. But either way, it resulted in Shuba's tragic death. It took a total of 48 hours for the last of the survivors to be rescued and finally brought to safety, an unimaginable amount of time in an unimaginable position, with survivors having to watch 2 people fall to their deaths before them, unsure if they too were going to meet the same fate.
Unfortunately, in the news, they actually showed that person falling. Like, Crowley didn't show them falling from his footage, but I don't know if you noticed that they actually showed that woman falling in this news article here.
Since its release, the footage is
news broadcast.
Online, as the media actually hailed this as an impressive and even successful rescue operation for the Indian Air Force, while others have hit back on this, as both incidents seem to have been entirely preventable, with more people dying from the rescue than the accident itself. Though ultimately there were no repercussions for the rescue crew, with the only punishments being dished out to the operating company DRIL, which was accused of not properly maintaining the ropeway and not following proper safety protocols. It was even alleged that when the initial crash happened, the people operating the ropeway at the time actually fled the scene and never even called authorities, but I'm not sure if this was ever actually proven.
Sure. Yeah, I think 1 person died from the crash, is what was said, and 2 people died from the rescue team. Like, the rescue team, I don't know if you could say they killed 2 people. Like, they were doing what they were supposed to be doing, it's just 2 people got killed in their attempt to save them. But yeah, like saying, like, twice the people technically died from trying to be rescued than from the accident itself.
DRIL was fined over $1 million and has since been blacklisted from operating ropeways for 5 years, while the families of the deceased were given around $33,000 in compensation. Currently, there are plans to repair and reopen the ropeway, though at this point, no official date has been given for the reopening.
Yeah, who the heck is going to write that now? And there is the end of that. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff as usual. From the train thing, we've already seen the train thing in a different video, probably a masquerade video than these intruder videos. Again, thankfully, this guy didn't actually hurt anybody. This one, of course, could have been prevented wholeheartedly if the dispatcher would have taken them seriously. Again, it's a issue of, were they acting like this because it was Halloween? And if so, does that even matter? Like, you still should take your every call seriously, even if it is Halloween. Granted, like, you know, if you do that and you take a fake call seriously, you show up and it's just a prank or something that was not a problem, it causes issues where, okay, well, a bad thing happens and then you're off here doing that, and that's why someone ended up dying over there, because you're too busy dealing with this prank slash misunderstanding. But still, we have the inverse of that, where you didn't take a real situation seriously and it cost 3 people their lives. Question mark. 4 if you want to add Noah to that, because maybe Noah could have been stopped and rehabilitated, whatever, right? So yeah, just bad dispatcher stuff, which we've seen before. Like, I forget which one it was. I don't think it's the one where the kid's in the car seat and he like dies from getting stuck and suffocated by the car seat. I feel like the dispatcher kind of screwed up there, but I don't remember completely. I think she did get in trouble for that. We didn't hear if these dispatchers got in trouble for this or not. I guess we're never going to know that. And then this one, again. I don't know what to say about this one, because it was an incident. I don't even know how that first person died in the collision, but I don't know if we can blame the rescue team too much. Again, other than the fact that, was it a better idea to try to Trying to think of the word. It's a winch, right? As you're saying, the winch was being used, like winch them up into the helicopter, then drive them over to some place and let them go, or would have been better to just, have them on the rope and then slowly drop them down from there, like, or even do the inverse. And I guess it is windy, so they are flying around, so they might end up hitting stuff on the way down just because of how windy it is, and that's probably why they didn't want to do that. But it's just like the hindsight of like, okay, what would have been better to like make sure those two people didn't die. The rope snapping, I think we can't really blame that on anyone, because like how could you know the rope's gonna snap for whatever random reason? It's just an unfortunate tragedy that happened. But that is going to be it for today. I don't know what we're going to be doing next time, if it's going to be Chinaverse, or if it's going to be finishing, or trying to get around to finishing the Your Scariest Experiences from, Stephanie Sue. Her reading off viewers' experiences and whatnot. We'll have to see. We can maybe go back to Chinaverse in a couple days. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. Remember to buy my stickers, or think about becoming a member. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because we're working on watch time and subscribers, and we will be thrown as well. And shout out to the members, EmmyStarr, RaleyDrew, and alexgkiller 880. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Tune to the next episode. Like, subscribe, comment. You know the do. See ya.